So on the collection connection tonight, we have ComicFoo 2814, big collector. He does a lot of cool haul videos, some unboxings, that kind of stuff. He's got quite the collection. I know I'm jealous of a lot of his stuff, but go ahead and take a minute. If you have any social media you want to throw out there, now's the time to do it. Floor is yours.
Sure. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and also Facebook at ComicFoo 2814. Instagram, I post a lot of my latest hauls, and I post a few things on Twitter. Facebook's not so much. So Instagram's the way to hit me up.
Instagram it is. That seems to be the more popular trend, Instagram these days. But yeah, so let's talk books. How did you how long have you been collecting, and what got you into it?
Oh wow. So I've been collecting since I was a kid. Probably gosh, I don't know how old. I was really young. I used to go into town. I lived just out like next to a cornfield in Pennsylvania. And so we had to drive into town, and this is before pizza delivery. And so my dad and I would go in and order the pizza. And while we waited, we'd go across the street to the newsstand, and he would every once in a while pick me up a book. And so that kind of got it started. And then probably like around 13 or so, my friends and I, we all used to ride our bikes into town. And that was when I got my first pull box. And that changed everything for me. Because then self-sufficient, threw my backpack on, and just went every week, drove in for the Alliance. There you go.
Thank you, Perry, for the Alliance.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome, man. Given where you grew up, I mean, I can imagine there being, mom and pop, shops that have a lot of comic books in it. Very cool.
Yeah. They kind of came and went. And then like early 90s, that's when it got its foothold, and then it was a little bit more reliable.
Yeah. Awesome. How many total books do you think you have, give or take?
So I just did my tally. It's 8,250.
8,250. That is quite the collection. That's awesome. Do you use any
third of them right there?
That's quite the that's a lot. That's a lot. How do you catalog them? Like, how do you get that number? Do you use like apps like CLZ? That's kind of popular right now.
I use comicspriceguide.com.
Comicspriceguide.com. Okay.
I've been doing this for a while, and they were one of the early ones that had it online. So that one of the benefits is, of course, I can use it on my computer at home, but I can also use it on my phone when I'm out at the store, which is really important because with that many books, it's hard to remember what you've got.
Same thing here. Hey, what's up, Dan Piercy? Dan Piercy's got a really cool blog, The Reading Pile. You should definitely check it out. I don't know if you've read some of his stuff, but over on CBSI, he's really cool. Very informative. Very informative. Definitely give him a read. Very cool. But yeah, like same thing that I do. I got grandfathered in when I used the CLZ app. Now it's a monthly subscription, but I'm in for life. But I don't have near to that many.
Guide's like $60 a year, so it's nothing.
That's still reasonable, especially if you have a collection that size. You're out in the wild trying to find, your specific books. I mean, you're gonna need something like that. Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Do you have any cool autographs?
I do.
Okay.
Got one out for you.
Awesome. Very cool.
So I collect comic books as well as action figures and Funko. So I've got two here for you. And the first one is oh
wow.
I got a Saga #1, the first printing with it's got BKV as well as Fiona Staples here.
Awesome.
The BKV was signed at Midtown. I got it that way, but the Fiona Staples I got signed when I was out at Emerald City Comic Con.
Very cool. What's going on? Jordan Holtz, a really cool comic collector too. We'll have to get him on here someday. But that is an awesome book.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my prized possessions.
Real quick question? Do they charge for a signature on that one?
No.
No. Okay. Awesome.
No. You just
cool.
You just had to get a ticket, wait in line, and stand in line for 20 minutes. And she was really nice.
Awesome.
So, and then this is another one I got. This is an action figure. So this is the
awesome. That's so cool.
The original Starbuck from the 70s, still mint on card. And Dirk Benedict was at again Emerald City Comic Con, and so I had him sign it. And what's funny is he kind of messed up. It's kind of hard to tell now because he corrected it, but I mean, he's older now, and he kind of his hand was shaking, and he messed up the star down there, and so he tried to like fill it in afterwards. But you can see it's got a star and a dollar sign for Starbucks. So
that was really cool. That is really awesome. That's a cool story. That's a cool story. So he went to Emerald City Comic Con. Is there any other big conventions that you go to?
Well, I used to live in the Seattle area, so I used to go to Emerald City. I went to the first year of Rose City down in Portland, and now just really the smaller conventions. So whatever comes up, I'll go to it. Now I'm going to the ICCC. It's the big Star Wars collectors convention in Nashville in September.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When you go to that convention, is there anything that on your to-do list? Is there certain autographs you're going to chase? Maybe some pictures you got to take?
For that one, no. I'm just it's my first time, so just kind of take it in. I'm taking my kids with me, so I'm looking to show them a good time, and whatever speaks to me, I'll pick up. So it'll be something cool.
That's too cool. That's awesome. I wish I could go to something cool like that. But some of the bigger conventions I go to, Baltimore's probably like the main one that I go to. Thought about going to Keystone Comic-Con, which is a new one in Philly, but I didn't get a chance to. Wasn't really impressed with some of the talent that they had. A lot of TV show and movie show people, but I try to keep it mostly focused on some of the books.
Yeah, I generally tend to like the smaller ones now, because like Emerald City was fun, but it started to get so big.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend most of your time standing in line, and you can never get the exclusives, no matter how early you get there. And there's so many people. It started to lose the fun for me.
Yeah, I believe it. Which leads into some of the next one. We were talking about how big your collection was. What does it mostly consist of? Is it mostly DC, Marvel? You got a little bit of hodgepodge, maybe some independents in there?
So up until about a year ago, it was mainly DC, and now it's about 50-50. So hey, Discovery.
What's up, man?
Yeah, so I'm a huge DC fan. That's really where my passion is, dating back to when I was a kid. But I think the MCU kind of pulled me in a bit to Marvel, and I've always loved Spider-Man, and so I decided I needed to pick a new run, a new character to go after, and so I figured, why not Spider-Man? And that just kind of took me down the hole, and next thing I know, it started to sprout off into other things. So next thing I know, I'm collecting every X-Men I see.
So you touched on Spider-Man from Marvel. What about DC? Who's your? I would imagine it's the Green Lantern, but I mean, like.
So I think I am like most people. Superman by far is my favorite.
He's your guy. Okay.
Since I was a kid. But in terms of my collection, it would be Green Lantern.
Okay, very cool.
So I had to make a decision. So I'm kind of a completionist.
Perry, what up?
Hey, Perry. I'm a completionist, and so I wanted to go after something that I thought I had a chance of completing, and this was like 10 or 15 years ago. And I knew Superman was just beyond my capabilities. So I decided to focus on Green Lantern because they had always been a character I loved since I was a kid. So I figured it was a good runner-up.
What is it about Superman that like he's your favorite? What is it about him as a character?
To be honest with you, I think it's just it probably dates back to when I was a kid. I was kind of a skinny kid, and always kind of a geek, and
Sure.
a little socially awkward, and so I'd get picked on, and but I would sit there and I'd read those Superman books, and just how he would kind of like swoop in and like take care of everyone, just kind of like gave me this like sense of hope that that there's good things out there that will take care of people. And so I think that just kind of stuck with me. And I like the whole concept of it, the hope.
Oh, yeah. My two favorites, Green Lantern, Shazam. I'm in the same boat. Like they earned their powers, based on who they are as a person.
Yes.
They weren't born with it or some kind of tech thing, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I love Green Lantern, especially Hal Jordan. Just the whole concept that he can just will things into existence, and
right.
That nothing can stop him as long as he wants it to happen. So
I wish I had a Green Lantern ring. That'd be sweet. What are some of the coolest books in your collection? Let's say your house is on fire. You can only grab a couple. Which ones you grabbing?
All right. So I pulled them out for you.
Awesome. Very cool.
So this is one, again, I got it at Emerald City Comic Con about 15 years ago. I think I spent about $300 on it. And for me at the time, it was like an absolute grail. $300 was like, I couldn't believe I was spending. My wife gave me this look and she's just like, go do it. And I'm so happy I did, because
awesome.
And it's really nice display worthy.
That is in great shape too. You're right.
Yeah. So this is definitely one of my grails. And then I think about 2 years ago for Father's Day, my wife knew I'd really wanted this for a while, so she told me to pull the trigger. This is my Punisher.
Awesome.
And again, this is probably like an 8.5.
That's still good shape. That's still in great shape.
Yep. And then I had one of these before. I actually gave it to a friend about 10 years ago for his birthday, and I've always wanted my own. So this year I got the giant size X-Men.
Very awesome.
And again, this is in really nice shape.
That is in great shape. That's amazing. I'm jealous.
And then my wife and I are huge Walking Dead fans, so
sure.
I had to get this. This is my Walking Dead #1.
Awesome. That's cool. That's a good book. Very, very cool to have.
Yeah.
So I assume you and your wife watched the TV show.
Yeah. In fact, she used to go to Emerald City with me just to meet the cast. So
oh yeah, I can see that.
We met Shane. Now I'm blanking on her name, but we met a few of them. We saw Michonne. What's the guy that got his hand cut off? Daryl's brother.
Oh yeah, gosh, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I don't remember his name either.
That guy is an absolute riot. He is so funny in person.
I met him at Minneapolis Comic Con. I had the same experience. Super cool guy.
Yeah.
That was when Guardians of the Galaxy 1, or not 1, but 2. When Yondu, yeah.
Yep.
Man, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Speaking of specific books in your collection, is there any that have any sentimental value that might not necessarily be worth a whole lot of money, but
yep.
Awesome.
So, this is my first book ever.
First book ever.
My dad got this for me off that newsstand. This is DC Comics Presents number 38.
Awesome.
And it's for me, it's just a classic book. I mean, it really is a beautiful cover.
It is.
Flash and Superman, and that got me started. So that was
it. That was the spark that lit the comic book flame for you.
Yep.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Do you display any of your books on your wall? Looking behind you, I see a lot of.
I do. So I've got the Batman there over my shoulder with Bane breaking his back. There you go. Yeah. And then above that, I got the newsstand Death of Superman.
Oh, yep, I see it.
And both of those, I've got nicer copies that I keep in my boxes, but I got those for cheap just to display on the wall. And I don't have it up yet, but the Emerald Twilight run, I display that on my wall.
Very cool. Why those issues in particular? Do they you like those stories, or they're just cool?
Yeah, the Death of Superman really kind of got me seriously collecting. So that was about the time I got my first pull box. Awesome. And so that had and I really loved the story. So that one holds a lot of meaning to me. And about the same time, I really got into Batman because with Bane coming in and breaking his back, that kind of like, I was into Batman previously. It was the death of Robin that pulled me in. But the Night Quest, Nightfall and Night Quest, I read every episode as a kid. So I wanted to get that on my wall.
That's awesome. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the DC Black label, but they're doing some universe one-shots. And one of the one-shots they're doing is, what if Bane, when he broke Batman's back, like Batman was out as Batman, like he was done. What would that world be like if he never recovered?
Oh, yeah. Azrael could still be running around.
He could. Yeah, who knows? I forget who's going to be on that book, but I'm excited. I like those kind of like, Marvel, I know, does the what if, but
right.
I don't know what else to call it. What if?
Yeah. Kind of like an Elseworlds.
Yeah, and there's another one, Death of Superman. You're talking right up there. They're doing a Death of Superman. Like, what if he died and like he was dead, like not coming back? What would that world look like? Some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline from DC Black Label. I'm glad I subscribed to all of them.
Very cool.
This was pretty self-explanatory looking at your background there. So, I mean, how do you store your books? Is long boxes, short boxes? But I can see that.
Yeah, so I store them in short boxes. I'm looking to actually get like some custom drawers along the side of the wall.
Okay.
But that's going to require some money. So for now, they're in short boxes. I just store them on these shelves. I am constantly running out of room. And then my nicer books, I kind of have this rule: anything I value over $15 goes into a top loader. So the top 2 rows there are top loaders, and then I've got a few hundred behind me that are waiting to go into top loader.
Yeah, when you move your chair, I saw the big stack right there. That's kind of neat.
So those are all top loader books.
Awesome. So, I mean, are there a lot of shops in your neck of the woods?
There are, yeah. So I have there's 2 that are within 20 minutes of me.
Okay.
And then if I extend that to about an hour, I get like another 5 or so.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's not bad. Even when I was out in Seattle, I didn't have that kind of that range.
That's surprising for a big area like Seattle. I'm sure now it's different since comics are on fire everywhere you go.
Yeah, who knows?
Very cool. So I know you did say that you were getting taking your kids to the big Star Wars event, but are they starting to get into some of the comic books that you're in? Are you slowly introducing them into maybe some?
So my oldest son, not so much. He's kind of made the decision that he's not into it.
Okay.
He's going to be 17. My 13-year-old is not really into it. He's much more into video games, but he does have me collect the Flash for him. So,
okay.
But he's not reading them all the time. I kind of have to encourage it. But it's my 11-year-old that is just consuming them. He loves them. He's currently reading like Venom and Absolute Carnage. And he was just in here last night saying, I want the next one. I said, well, it hasn't come out yet. He's flipping out because he didn't want to wait anymore.
That's cool.
So he really likes them. And he's really into Hawkman. Don't ask me where that came from. He just decided on his own he was going to read Hawkman. And so he even picked himself up a Silver Age Hawkman. So he's definitely going down the collecting path.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
Some good characters there too. That's cool. It's always nice, when we can get some of the youth to carry on the tradition of the future.
Yeah, I worry about that all the time. Like, is it time to sell, or But I'm holding out hope. So and I get encouraged by all the activity on YouTube, and just I get stunned every time I see some of these younger guys and how passionate they are about it, and it gives me hope that there's still a chance, because I know there's a lot of people are down on the stories nowadays. And hopefully that turns around.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it's a great hobby. I mean, I don't get a chance to read as much as I would like. I do read some, but just collecting and being part of that, the culture, just getting to go down to the shop once a week and talk with your shop owner and the other customers there is great. I love it.
Yeah, at my local shop, they don't know my name. They know my box number. They see me coming in like, well, box number this. Here you go, bud.
Yep. Yep.
That's how you know you've made it at the comic book shop. They see you coming. They just know exactly what box number to pull.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very awesome. So when you go to some of these conventions, are you chasing mostly back issues? I know you said you and your wife kind of like to maybe meet some of the celebrities of like favorite shows or whatever, but what's some of your focus?
Yeah, my main focus is going to be the older grails, the keys, because the conventions are such a great place to get a good variety of them, both the number of issues as well as like multiple conditions to choose from, and especially if you go on like a Sunday late in the day, and you're willing to buy kind of in bulk, well, they'll come down pretty well in price for you. So you can get much better than you can get in like eBay or something. So
yeah, I believe that as well. Very cool. If it's all right with you, I'm going to switch over here. We're going to hit up some headlines, if that's cool. Let's see if I can do this right. Where is it? Right here. Hey, you might see yourself. There, does that work? You see that?
Yeah, that's very cool.
So this is, I know you and I talked a few minutes before. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Greg Berlanti developing a Green Lantern Corps HBO Max show featuring Kyle Rayner. And I was wrong because I told you it was Jon Stewart.
Right.
But that's a whole nother story here that I just found out. So rumor has it that there's an HBO Max Green Lantern Corps series. Maybe it's a miniseries. Who knows? Maybe it's just one. I don't know. But
well, that probably makes sense because they just picked up that Watchmen spinoff, right? So
yeah. Oh, I'm sure this is probably a ways off, but I mean that's exciting. You know, I'm a big Green Lantern fan. You're a big Green Lantern fan. So this is awesome.
And I think that's the way to do it. I think Green Lantern's such a hard one to get right in the movies because it's so massive. I mean, it's like Star Wars in its size, especially if like you start thinking of like the Jeff Johns run. Trying to explain that to someone and trying to fit it down into a movie, I don't see how it could work. But if you could do like a television show, that'd be really cool. That's something I would like to see.
Yeah, wouldn't that be exciting?
Absolutely.
I mean, what's awesome about a TV show is obviously you can expand the story. You're not limited to like one sit down. And honestly, I think they should do maybe more shows like this. But that's definitely one of the headlines for sure.
And it really is the perfect medium. I mean, even more so than the movies. Like the MCU has done it really well. But if you think about the nature of a comic book, and like it really is, each episode is a cliffhanger, right? And so it lends itself very well to, I think, a weekly show.
And what's great about some of the shows like on the CW that they've done, like, you know, they've introduced some characters that wouldn't normally be popular. Look at Elongated Man's on the Flash. He's a series regular. Who would have thought Elongated Man would? I don't know.
And they're great shows, and my kids watch them. So I think they really are kind of great. I mean, At times they can get a little bit kind of teeny, but
Yeah, kind of Dawson's Creek-ish. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that's okay. It's kind of like Smallville, but I love
Yeah.
that too. So I definitely dig those shows.
Yeah. And going back another page here, here is the other one, the other Green Lantern show that's been pitched, starring David Ramsey. That was his name.
Oh, that's on the CW.
This one's on the CW by a gentleman who also does the CW verse stuff. So we have competing Green Arrow or Green Lantern shows on two different networks by the same creative team.
That's amazing. It's about time. It's about time Green Lantern gets the attention that he deserves, that they deserve, the whole Corps. It's a great story.
It is. And what a world that would be if we got both of them, but I can only imagine we'd probably just get one. But yeah, this is just a couple days old. They came out with this, but I know the CW is kind of wrapping up their Green Arrow stuff. But
Yep.
Would you cast David Ramsey as a Jon Stewart? I say go for it. I think he's a tremendous actor.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, really. I mean, it's not gonna, as long as I don't think it should cross over into like the Arrowverse, because he's already established there. But yeah, as an actor, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be canon in that Arrowverse. I don't think so, because it's not established that. I can't imagine him going from Team Arrow to international or intergalactic space cop. And
yeah, I mean, if you're going to do Jon Stewart right, I mean, you got to do the engineer, the Marine, and you got to do it right.
Yeah, and I thought that that's kind of neat. So 2 Green Lantern shows. Which would you pick?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with the Kyle Rayner though.
Yeah, I think that is going to be my choice too. The one starring Kyle Rayner. Not that I'm sure there will be a Jon Stewart in there somewhere.
And I love Jon Stewart.
Yeah, for sure.
I would definitely watch both, but if I had my pick, it would have to be Kyle Rayner.
Did you hear? This is a complete rumor, but for the Green Lantern movie, Green Lantern Corps movie that DC is currently working on, Tom Cruise for Hal Jordan.
I heard it.
Yay or nay?
I don't know. So the guy kind of drives me nuts, like with his behavior, but at the same time, I've enjoyed every movie he's been in. So I definitely like him as an actor. I don't know. He's a little old now. I think maybe a younger Tom Cruise.
So I'm gonna put this question to the chat, and we're happy to have you back there, Discovery. We're gonna put this question to you: yay or nay to Tom Cruise as Hal Jordan in a Green Lantern movie? So whoever's left in the chat, that's the question. I voted no. Not that he's a terrible actor, but I don't know. He's too mainstream for me, really.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at like what happened with like Ben Affleck, I mean, again, he was kind of too old to play that part, and it kind of showed. And I'd like to see if they're going to do something with Green Lantern that it can last a while.
Yeah,
because
I want that longevity. I want that longevity. And Tom Cruise, he's in like every other movie, it seems like. Yeah. He's got his Mission Impossible series. He's part of that Universal Monster cinematic universe that I don't know if it's going to keep going. So this Discovery says no to Tom Cruise's Green Lantern. Okay, so that's a hard no coming from Discovery. Okay, so we're on the same page. I feel good about it. So these are some of the cool headlines I thought. One I didn't see in here was the new Marvel DC streaming service. Who is getting it? Moon Knight is getting his TV show.
I heard that. Yeah.
How do you feel about a Moon Knight series instead of a Moon Knight movie? A lot of people wanted the movie. And Discovery says he's way too big a star, and too old.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise,
Yeah, I would have
absolutely.
said no, even if he was in his prime, but whatever. Yeah, Moon Knight.
Moon
Which
Knight is a character that I know next to nothing about. I know that he's compared to like a Batman type character, and that's about all I know.
yes. Okay.
So,
Okay.
I was just, in fact, watching, I think it was Comic Tom. They were talking about, you hear it all the time, that his first appearance is just like skyrocketing. And for
It's
the life of me, I just don't know why.
exploded.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I've never read it. So,
Okay. She-Hulk is also getting a show on the Disney Plus streaming service.
yep.
First of all, are you going to subscribe to Disney Plus? Is there any of those shows in that lineup that attract you in any way?
Yeah. I mean, She-Hulk definitely does. I'm struggling because I don't want to pay for another subscription service.
Right? Why can't it just stay on Netflix? Come on.
Yeah, so I think I will, but I'll probably wait a little bit and then binge it. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, like I've got the DC Universe streaming service now.
Yep.
And I enjoy it, but there's not enough. And I don't know if Disney will be the same way. If anything, I think the biggest thing that I'd be looking for from Disney is probably the Star Wars. So the continuation of the Clone Wars is something I'm really looking forward to, and then the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Mandalorian. I saw that. It looks pretty good. We'll have to see, but I don't want to be disappointed, so I'm not getting my hopes up.
I know,
but I hope that I'm way wrong, and it blows everything out of the water, and it's like
and if
bread.
it doesn't live up, I can handle that. The one I'm most worried about is the Clone Wars, because I absolutely love that, and I just hope they don't screw it up.
Yeah, Discovery looks like he is also 100% getting Disney Plus. I've seen it both ways. There's some people who they're not getting it just to spite Disney, but then the overwhelming majority are like, it can't get here fast enough. I need that Disney Plus. My wife and I just had our first kid, so who knows? Maybe as the kid gets older. Thank you. Maybe get some Disney Plus movies because it's kids and Disney, of course. Why not?
Yeah, totally.
Here's a crazy headline that I thought was really funny. So, Florida prisons ban The Watchmen. How to draw comics the Marvel way. Apparently, there's a problem with The Watchmen in Florida prisons.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the original story when Rorschach goes into prison and
just wrecks everybody.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't want a prison full of Rorschachs.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just kind of a funny little silly headline right there. But
I don't know what that has to do with drawing comics the Marvel way, though.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know. But there's a lot of you said you're a big Star Wars guy, so I definitely want to get your 2 cents on this. So Marvel is ending the Star Wars series in November.
Yeah, I heard that.
Are you sad to see it go?
I think so. So I haven't really been reading it. I think the reason I'll be most sad is because I think that's going to be the end of the original characters is what I've kind of heard hinted at.
Yeah. I mean, they're not dropping Star Wars books. That would be really dumb. But I think
right. They're going to go with the
transition into the new ones. Rey and Kylo Ren and all those.
And I think it's a mistake. I don't think that's going to attract the fans. I don't think they have done what they needed to make those characters. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the new movies, but they don't have what the originals did. And those characters like Rey, they're just not beloved. Not the way that, Leia and Luke, no way.
Maybe, future generations can turn that around, but, I would have to agree. When I think of Star Wars, I think of, Darth Vader and, chasing Luke Skywalker and the Millennium Falcon. Right. I don't think of, Finn and Rey, not that they're not good stories or interesting characters. It's just they're too new. They got to earn their stripes for me.
Yeah, they're just not at the same level. If anything, I'm actually looking forward to this last movie coming out and just putting an end to it all. And what I would most like to see is something brand new in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Something not tied to Skywalker or the Emperor, just something new that, we don't have to keep holding on to these older characters and comparing. It can just be something new that we can enjoy from scratch.
And I think that's something that the Mandalorian is going to do. And I think that's great that it's going to be on their streaming service. I think that's going to pull in a lot of people. But I could see it going, movie side as well, and creating this whole new movie verse that's still Star Wars, but it's not Rebels versus Imperials, big fight. It's just a guy catching bad guys in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and tell a good story. I mean, that's above all. Tell a good story, develop your characters, and they'll be okay.
And I didn't really care for the Solo movie, but I really liked what they tried to do. They try to do exactly what you said they should do. Tell a story within the Star Wars universe. I mean, they had aspects of Rebels and Imperials, but for the most part, it was a heist movie within the Star Wars movie or Star Wars.
Yeah, and I liked all those aspects of it. I think the one thing I didn't like is what they were doing to the characters I loved. Like Lando falling in love with the robot.
Yeah, like
it pulls me right out of the story, and
yeah,
it didn't have to happen. So, give me new characters that I don't have to have that emotional kind of reaction to, and I think it will be better.
SpongeBob SquarePants has joined the chat, and he wants to know: have movies and TV shows become too preachy? I'm sure there's an argument for and against it.
I think that there's always been some element of that in comics for sure. But yes, I think they have become too much so. It gets old, it gets tired, and I'm tired of rolling my eyes.
Yeah, right. I'm in the same boat, but here's a Star Wars headline for you: Chewbacca will fist fight Darth Vader in Marvel Star Wars.
I saw this. Yeah.
So go ahead and place your bets now.
It's not going to end well for Chewbacca.
It's not going to end well. Discovery Bay's off to dinner. Thank you, sir, for stopping by. Appreciate the interaction. I will catch you on the flip side, but yeah, I can't imagine it going well for Chewbacca.
Well, Vader's arms are robotic, so.
Well, that's true. We just pop them off. I mean, like Darth Vader has force powers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to go well. Very interesting choice for a story, in my opinion. There was another one here. You're a big Saga guy, so
that is one book that I've read every issue. And
so
I'm anxiously waiting for the new one.
I was going to say, so how are you liking the series so far? Sounds like you're loving it.
Absolutely.
For those who don't know about Saga, real quick, synopsis. Why should they be reading it?
For exactly the reason that. So when I actually picked up several first copies when it first came out due to the previews magazine. It was like a one sentence thing. It says Star Wars meets Game of Thrones, and awesome. It had me right there. And it's absolutely amazing. It's full of adventure, humor. It's adult oriented for sure. And don't let your kids read it. But it's got characters that are just so quirky and strange that you fall in love with instantly. And there's a good backstory to it. And yeah, I just really cared about the story. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a great story. The creative team on it,
they're phenomenal.
Not too well known, but they're definitely going to end up working in some of the big industry for sure.
Yeah, and that's the other really nice thing about it. It is just Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples have been doing it together from the start, and they're going to stick through this. BKV, when he first started, said that he had a full story in mind before he started. They took a break for this last year, and they said they're halfway through. And I like knowing that there is a plan, that there's going to be an end to it, that's been thought out ahead of time. It's not just going to be rushed. And I love that the two of them have stuck together through all of this, because the artwork is different than most other books out there, especially when it first came out. And it's just absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I like the fact when creative teams stick together. I don't know if you've been reading a lot of modern DC stuff, but they take Wonder Woman, for example. I think they're on their third or fourth writer. You know, and who knows how many issues that's going to be, but third or fourth writer, fifth or sixth artist. So the story, it's changed dramatically a lot.
But look what happens. Like, they keep rebooting these books. I mean, look what just happened to X-Men. Now, maybe it's for the better now because of Hickman, but again, it happened with Green Lantern. It's hard to stay focused and have your interest captured when it keeps changing it up.
Yeah, I agree. And you think the story is going to go one way, and some of the newer stories, like they're predictable. Like when anytime Wonder Woman interacts with Steve Trevor or the Flash, with his gallery, you know how that's going to. But I do like Saga and the direction it's going. Is there any other independent books that you're reading at all?
There's a few recently. So on my my YouTube channel, I do some comic book reviews, and usually I keep it focused to the independents, the first issue. So I really enjoyed Sea of Stars, story about a father and a son who get separated in space. I thought that was just fantastic. Sonata is another one I'm really enjoying.
I've heard of Sonata. Yeah.
It has kind of a Saga-ish feel to it. Not quite as polished as Saga. Reaver's another one I'm enjoying. And that's probably it as far as the indies right now.
Interesting.
Oh, and Bradley Golden's horror universe out of Antarctic Press. I'm enjoying that quite a bit.
I've heard good things about that one as well.
Yes, that is really, really good, especially if you're into like the old 80s slasher films.
Sure. And SpongeBob wants to know who'd win in a fight, Chewbacca or Worf from Star Trek?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, wow.
I don't know. My money's on Chewbacca, just because I like Star Wars a little bit more than Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't know. I think oh, that's tough. I'm almost gonna have to go with Worf, just because I think Worf's probably. I mean, he's practicing every day, several times a day, so he's got the skill.
Yeah, and have you seen the DC's Legion of Superheroes coming back?
I think I heard that.
Yeah, but that's kind of awesome. Legion of Superheroes is always a good storyline, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I bring back those kind of lesser DC characters. I love it. I love when they get more attention.
Yeah, I do too. And what's nice is, every time you bring in like a storyline like this that's been out of the limelight for a while, you do get fans come back, and you get new fans as well.
Absolutely. And DC is so underrated, in my opinion. It has just absolutely wonderful characters, and the MCU, I mean, you can't take anything away from what they've done, but I think it has overshadowed DC in a way that isn't entirely fair, and I think it's a shame, because I think some of the newer generation may be missing out on some of these great characters and stories from DC. So I wish DC Cinematic Universe could finally get going, but
and I think they have. I think they've figured out their stride a little bit.
Yeah, you know what I think they did best, actually, most recently, is the Titan show.
Oh yeah, don't even talk about that. It's amazing.
It really is, and it's bringing to the screen characters that maybe a lot of these kids don't know as well, or they know from like the cartoons, right? From what is it, Teen Titans Go, right? My kids used to watch that. But yeah, so I thought if they could do more like that, I mean, the Arrowverse was great, but the Titans was, oh wow, that was great. I can't wait for season 2.
Season 2 was awesome. How did you like Doom Patrol? Did you catch that?
Yes, I really enjoyed it in the beginning. Brendan Fraser's just phenomenal in it.
He destroyed Robot Man. Like, that was
absolutely.
awesome. That was a great cast.
It was so great, but I stopped watching it halfway through the season. It lost me. It was a little too strange.
Swamp Thing. Unfortunately, that was over before it even started.
Yeah, and that killed it for me. So I watched like the first 2 episodes. I really enjoyed it, but knowing that it was canceled hasn't kept me into it. Other things distracted my attention.
Yeah, and it seems like this is a really good streaming service. In my opinion, they should put a second season of Constantine on that. I thought that was a great show. Very underrated, in my opinion. Matt Ryan does a great John Constantine, but yeah, it's a great streaming service. I think they're doing really well with bringing in not only old fans, but the curiosity is there enough where they can pull in some new fans as well.
Yeah, and I love all the comics that you can read there. So like I've been reading,
absolutely,
on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern. So I mean that's a great part of it, and to get kids into comics. I mean what a great way. But they've got to add more content, more streaming content.
Yeah, and WB is going with a Warner Brothers streaming service. And that includes DC because it's all one company. So the future of the DC streaming service, unfortunately, it's just about a year old and it's already in jeopardy.
Which, as long as they can just move everything over, I'm okay with that. I'll just go get the WB streaming service. But if they start canceling the shows or they don't put the comics in there, then I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat. If they don't just move it, because it's one company, I can't imagine to be super difficult. But
it's just a branding issue.
If they start canceling shows like Titans, like that is a hot right now. Why would you do that to yourself?
Yep.
But it sounds like since they also own Cinemax, the Cinemax streaming service is going to get Doom Patrol, but not Titans, or the other way around, or whatever. I don't understand. The problem is they have this great content, and they're trying to juggle 10 different things at once and put some here and not some there.
They're not as big as Marvel yet. Marvel can kind of splinter that out between Hulu, Disney Plus, and the movies. I think DC needs to keep it focused right now and build their fan base.
I completely agree. I don't know what those guys are doing over there, but slipping over to DCEU movies right now. Did you see the final trailer for the Joker movie?
I did. This is a movie that I have not been interested in at all. I didn't see the point in doing it.
I didn't either.
I watched this trailer though, and now I'm into it. So, I don't have huge.
Looks good.
What's that?
Trailer looks amazing.
It does, yeah. I mean, it's not like my number one pick out there, but I'm definitely going to go see it now, and I'm a lot more excited than I was.
Yeah, and some of the early screenings of it, the critics are saying this is probably Joaquin Phoenix's best performance of his career. I mean, to get praise like that, I mean, you have to be, even if you're not a DC fan, and just to see a talented actor like Joaquin Phoenix, just to see his performance, even if this wasn't a comic book movie, I'd still probably go see it.
And I was reading something with the director where it's like it's not really intended to be so much a comic book movie, or it's a comic book movie in a different way.
Yeah.
And so I can respect that. And yeah, I mean, if it's a good movie, then it's a good movie, and I want to see it.
I'm excited about it. And
I just hope they don't compare him to Heath Ledger, because I don't think that's necessary.
They're going to.
I know, but they shouldn't.
It's like comparing online businesses to Amazon, even if they're not even remotely close. It's hard to compare, Jokers to Heath Ledger because of the influence that he had.
And that was an amazing role, and he did such a great job. But I don't see a reason to try to take away from him, to look at someone else, or to take away from someone else because of Heath Ledger. Like, let it be its own thing.
I was reading an article. I was not around when the Batman movie with that came out in the 80s. Who was that? Is that Val Kilmer? No, it was Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Then they had Val Kilmer and
Yeah.
George Clooney.
I was not around for the Michael Keaton Batman. A little bit before my time, but my dad was saying how, like, they were saying, well, why isn't it like the Adam West Batman? You know, we're no longer comparing Adam West Batman to, Ben Affleck Batman. But I think
Right.
eventually they're going to get to a point where, they're going to cast some other guy who's a really good Joker. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's so cool. Way
Right.
better than that. What was his name? Heath Ledger? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, things move on, they progress, and you forget. But I think we can respect each one individually.
Yeah, I agree. They can be separate and both be super awesome. Have you read any of the Absolute Carnage from Marvel at all?
I have. That is the one book I am all caught up on. I haven't done the tie-ins, but yes, I'm enjoying it.
Without giving any spoilers away, what's one reason they should be reading it?
Oh, it's fun. I mean,
A fun story. Okay.
it's fun. Yeah, there's suspense. Yeah, like I said, my son came in last night in my office asking to read the next one. I said, there isn't another one. That it just came out, and he was upset because he didn't want to wait. And so,
Yeah. Does
that
not
tells
bother
you
you when you have a really awesome story like that?
yeah.
So we'll give the 5-minute warning here if there's anyone in the chat that wants to ask any questions to ComicFoo about his collection or get his 2 cents on anything. But I do want to bring one more, or maybe this is a couple, kind of rolls into there, but one more article in here. But the guy who I can't remember this actor's name. This gentleman right here from Game of Thrones. He's been cast as Marvel's Black Knight.
Okay.
In the MCU. I don't know if you're too familiar with that character.
I'm not.
I had to go back and read a little bit on him, but it sounds like it's going to be a pretty cool cast, maybe. Definitely seems kind of up his alley.
Kit Harington. That's his name, right?
Yes, Kit Harington. Yeah. Oh, I guess I probably would say in the article. I don't know why I didn't look at it. But he's kind of mysterious and medieval, kind of mystic.
Okay.
I hope it's not just a copy paste from his time in Game of Thrones over to the MCU, but
I don't think that would work well.
Yeah. Did you catch Game of Thrones at all?
Yeah, that was another show. Walking Dead and Game of Thrones are the 2 shows my wife and I are just like diehard for.
Good. What did you think of the ending of Game of Thrones? I'm sorry.
I had to walk out of the room because I was annoying my wife so much. I hated it.
Yeah. Did you see some of the aftermath? Like after it was aired and official, even some of the actors are like, we couldn't do anything, but we're in the same boat. This was stupid.
It was so bad. It was so unnecessary. I can't believe that there was nobody there that told that raised their hand and say, hold up, we got a problem.
Especially George R.R. Martin. He could have been like, yeah, I'm not done with the books. I don't think he's done with the books.
I don't think so either.
He's like, yeah, no, we're not doing it this way.
No, none of it made sense. He's got to have
some kind of creative control.
Yeah, I mean, there were elements of the story that, I wasn't exactly expecting, but I could have gone along with. But the way they did it was awful. The CGI was poor, and there's no excuse for that today, right? I mean, It was blurry. Like I was having trouble understanding what I was watching at times. And then the pace, it moved so quickly in directions that just made no sense. I did not like it.
Yeah, I can't imagine there were anybody out there who was all excited about the Game of Thrones ending. Speaking of things ending, the Walking Dead issue 193. What are your thoughts on that? Did you read it?
I did. I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decided to end at 193 and not
I don't
stretch
know.
that to 200. And
I
it seems
think
the ending kind of came out of nowhere.
it did. But I kind of get it. I mean, he said the story was about Rick, and that was over. So the story ended, and
Can't argue with that logic.
I was okay with it. I mean, it. I think it's better, like Kirkman said, it's better to have ended like that than to have carried it on and just had it kind of fizzle.
That's true. One thing you don't want to do is have declining sales and your publishing team telling you just end it already.
Yeah,
You
you don't want what's happening with Star Wars right now, where people just want it to be over.
So who knows? I hope I'm wrong. I hope the new Star Wars is awesome. But
Yeah.
we'll end the chat here. If you want to go ahead and throw your social media out one more time.
Sure. Well, I'm on YouTube, of course, at ComicFoo 2814, and I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Again, at ComicFoo 2814.
Very cool. So hey man, you got an awesome collection. I know I'm jealous of a lot of your stuff, but thanks for taking the time to hang out on my channel.
Absolutely, this is fun.
Yeah, we might have to swing back around and do this again. But I'm going to end the broadcast here. Don't go anywhere. I have a couple of things for you. But for everyone else, this is goodbye. Until next time, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.